Yes, problem of connection. Can you hear me? It's okay? Okay, thank you. Maybe Eurydice also had a problem, but you know what it is when we are at home. It's always difficult, but we can handle it. So so I don't know what was the question. Um, to ensure that I can upload any file, make a successful submit. Right. Alors, I can upload any file to make a successful submit. Right. Sorry, but I don't understand really your question. J'ai pas inventé ça, So, of course, yes, I see your question regarding the GMAT. Eurydice told you that you have to upload this test, but for example, at Join School in France, we agreed. All the schools agreed with us about the fact that the GMAT, the TAJMAJ, all the written tests, and all the English tests are valid during 5 years. So, for example, you did your test, your English test in 2015, it's okay. For us, it's okay. You don't have to do it again. But if you want to do better, you can. But in this situation, it's a little bit complicated, and you know, I think that all the schools can understand that it's really complicated for you to give all the documents to provide a certificate. We know that, but do what you can, and it will be okay. Yes, there is absolutely no problem to apply during this period because, for example, here at Join School in France, we maintain all the activities, so there is no problem. We are adapting ourselves to do our best in order to guide you all along the process. And for example, all the interviews were physical. We have a lot of centers everywhere in the world in order to do your interviews, but at this time it's not possible, so we are organizing all the interviews online through Skype, WeChat, Line, all the digital tools possible. So there is no problem. You will have exactly the same process, but with some arrangement and some adaptation, but it will be exactly the same process: an interview, all the documents, etc. And regarding the intake, for example, for September 2020 intake, all the schools will maintain the intake, but if it's not possible to do it physically, it will be online. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Jan was asking, okay, they accept candidates only based on their online profile. Why don't you do the same? The online interview may be not fair for some of us who don't have great internet. Okay. As Agathe was telling, interviews will be online, but it will be in the same condition as if you were in a office. And please note that also in the assessment process, you have the interview, you have your grades, the GMAT, the management test and English test course. So your application will be studied as a whole. So then it's okay about this.
And just to add something on what you are saying, it's really important to keep this method of interviews because indeed even if many schools are stopping their interviews and they only accept candidates with their files, this is it will not be the case for HEC Paris, ESCP Business School, and all the 5 business schools that we are promoting, because we insist on the fact that it's really important to know you, to have an appreciation about your personality, to know if you can be autonomous, if you can live in France, if you are a real international student, if you can speak English. It's really important to test you in live, and this is also an advantage at Join School in France, because it's the way for you. It's a real opportunity for you to meet alumni. An alumni is a former student from HEC Paris, ESCP Business School, Audencia Business School, EM Lyon Business School, and Audencia Business School. They are I recruit these former students in order to be jury members during your online during your interviews, because I think they are the best to judge if you can enter into this kind of schools. And it's really important to meet you and to know you, and also you will have the possibility to ask them your questions. For example, if you absolutely want to go to ESCP Business School, you will have and you have a jury member who comes from this school, you will be able to ask questions and personal questions regarding the environment of the school, the mentality of the school, and also to talk about the career, etc. So it's really important for us to keep this interview process.
Mhm.
Okay. So there is many questions regarding the test, Eurydice. I think it's for you, because Eurydice is the specialist regarding candidates. So she's better
Yes,
than me
of
regarding
course.
these questions.
Okay, so we have a question from Ayub. Hello, Ayub. Okay, deadline for round 4 at ESCP is May 7th. How can candidates applying through journal school in France be considered? Okay, I'm not sure I understand your question, but when you apply to journal school in France, you can't apply separately to another school. For example, if you want to apply to HEC, you can't apply to journal school in France. You have to choose. But if you want to apply to several schools, HEC and ESCP Business School, then you can apply through journal school in France. But I'm not sure I have understood well your question. So if you can just reformulate, please. And okay. I know that the interview list will be announced in mid-May. Okay. Okay, so Fan Yajun is wondering if schools will study their application, because she does not have her GEMAT yet. On April 20, we will send your application to the schools, and schools will study your applications. And after that, they will receive your GEMAT, your management and English test, and they will be taken into account. But if you don't have them by April 20, it's okay. They will study the rest of your application, and then just before the interview period, they will be able to review also your written test. So it's okay. Um, I wonder if GMAT and IELTS will affect our chances of getting interviews. No, because we offer you an extra deadline, as we were saying, so it will be an advantage for you to have more time to take your written test, and it won't affect the chances of being eligible for an interview.
Julien, Good questions. So you all have good questions, but no, you can't apply twice. So if you absolutely, sorry, if you absolutely want one school, for example, EM Lyon Business School, you absolutely want this one, you can directly go to EM Lyon Business School. If you want several schools, you don't know exactly what kind of schools you want to choose, and you want to maximize your chance to join a school in France, you can choose to do your online application through Join a School in France, because you will have the possibility to apply for the 5 business schools at the same time. But if you want to apply through Join a School in France, you can't apply through HEC Paris at the same time. You need to choose your voice, the international voice or the direct voice, okay? The direct way, sorry. So I think it's clear for you. Tell me if it's not clear. We're here to explain again.
We have a question from Netel in French. Okay, so it's about the EJ score. So she wants to take it online, but she has or he has a bad internet connection. So what to do? If you have already taken your Tajmaj in November, you can submit it. If you want to take it again, from now, Tajma Center are closed. So if you want to take it again, it will be online. What you can do is find a place where you can have a good internet connection. But if you can't, no worry, you can submit the one you took in November.
Okay.
I wonder if I am qualified to apply for scholarship without GMAT scores. Must I get the GMAT scores before applying the scholarships? If you have any question about scholarships, you can contact the schools directly, because each school has its own scholarship program. And also, I don't know if you guys know Campus France. Campus France is is a French organization that promotes the French higher education abroad. So if you live, for example, in China, you can contact Campus France, for example, in Beijing, and then they can give you information about the different scholarship programs.
So guys, if you want, you have on the presentation, can you see clearly the presentation on the video? Is it okay for you? Okay, so you have some example of English test and also written test that are correct. So if you have them, it's perfect. If you don't have this kind of test, so remember that you have until May 31st to upload them and to do it and to upload it. So it's about the written test and the English test. Okay. There is also other documents, such as the letter of recommendation. It's really important. They are just example here, okay? But the letter of recommendation, I insist on the fact that you really need to give us the contact of your referrals, and it's better to have academic recommendation letters. It's better if you have two academic, but you can have one academic and one professional. And regarding the proof of payment, sometimes I see, because I check all your application, it's a lot of job, and a lot of work. And sometimes regarding the proof of payment, I can see the proof. Sometimes candidates upload the proof that they can pay. This is not the point. We just need to have the proof that you paid the application fees to join a school in France, about 190 euros.
So there is a question about the EJ score. So we are in contact with the FNEJ, which organizes the test, and it will be possible to register soon. So you have to check the website to see if they have opened the registration, but it will be soon be available. Okay.
So there's a question regarding the sessions. If session 4 is other than session 3, session 2. No, absolutely not. There is no difference between the sessions. It's just a planning, a schedule in the year, in order to give the chance to all the international candidates to apply when they can, and for us to organize our activities, because we have a lot of international students who want to apply. That's why we organize it in a different session, but there is no quotas, there is no difference. Absolutely not.
Okay.
So your turn.
Okay, so Chloe is asking, is there one interview or several in function of the school decision? So when you apply through Journal School in France, you can be accepted for an interview to one, several, or no schools. If you're accepted to at least one school, you will take one interview for all the schools that made you eligible. So the interview will be with different alumni from different schools, but it will be one interview for all these schools.
So to resume what Eurydice said, the jury member will represent all the 5 business schools. So even if you are eligible to one school, the jury member will represent this only one school. If it's 2 schools for you, better, he will represent the 2 schools, etc. Okay? Just one interview for all the schools.
Okay, so we have other questions. If the borders are not opening and we got an acceptation from a member school, who it is going to be? Okay, so the different classes will start in September, and if there is still the current situation, all the classes will be online in the different business schools. So the calendar won't change.
My referee told me that he recalled that recommendation letter should be uploaded in my reference. So regarding the recommendation letter, you have 2 possibilities. You can upload it by yourself on your online application, but sometimes your professors or your directors don't want to give you your letter of recommendation, and they prefer to send it directly to us. It's not a problem. So if it's the case, you just have to give to your referrer the Join a School in France address, email address, and you can say to them that they can send your letter of recommendation directly by email. That's all. and we will add it in your online application. Just to, because there is a lot of questions regarding the English test and the written test. Sometimes we don't have the answer, even if it's questions and answer, but we can guide you in your personal process. So, for example, is TOEIC available online? I don't have the answer. Aurélis, maybe you have. But if we don't have the answer, I suggest you to go on internet to click on TOEIC online session. And if you have a TOEIC online session, of course you can do it, because we accept TOEIC, and we will be more flexible regarding your English test and your written test for this time. It's normal. It's important. This is the crisis
Yes.
situation, so there is no problem.
But from now, because we are in contact with we have a contact with the ETS, which organizes the GRE and the TOEFL, and from now it's only possible to take the GRE and the TOEFL online, but we don't have an official communication about the TOEIC. But as Agathe said, if you want to contact them, you can. Otherwise, you can take the TOEFL online if you want. Can the letter be sent to you directly to you after May 20? All the documents for the session 4 must be submitted before, except the written test. All the documents must be sent before April 20. What you can do is ask your referee to send his or her recommendation letter directly at our mail address, Journal School in France, at CC Paris EDF, and then we will add it directly to your application form.
And also, if you want, if you upload regarding the time until May 31st, you just have the 2 documents, written test and English test, that can be uploaded after the deadline and until May 31st. If you don't have all the other documents, we will not consider your online application. It will be over for you.
And that is why we advise you to upload all the documents you have now, because you only have 1 week left and it will be very fast. So for example, if you already have your CV, if you have already prepared your motivation question, it's better to upload them on your application form. Otherwise, it can be stressful if you do it 2 days before. It's better to do what you can do now, so that then we can review your application. If there is a problem about a document or something else, then we can check it with you. So if you already have your recommendation letters, your CV, your ID photo, you can already upload it, because as Agathe was saying, the deadline will be in 1 week. You have an extra deadline, but it's only for the written test. All other documents must be ready for April 20.
So I have 2 questions. So the first question from Anthony. If you are eligible at 3 schools, for example, and so it means that you will have you will take an interview. Perfect. And it also means that the interview will be with 1 or 2 jury members. And the jury members will represent the school. It's okay. But if you are eligible to 3 schools, there is j'arrive plus à parler. Il n'y aura pas.
There will not be.
Yes, there will not be from the 3 schools. Maybe not. Maybe there will be, but maybe not. If you are eligible to the 5 at the 5 business schools, there will be only 2 jury members, and they will represent the 5 business schools. If you are eligible in 1 school, the jury member will represent this school. That's all. But not all the jury members will represent each school. They are just here as a jury member. You have to close your eyes regarding the schools they come from. They just represent a jury member, and they will evaluate you in order to give us an appreciation about you that we will add in your online application. But they don't represent a specific schools. They represent the globality. The global schools, all the schools. Sorry, it's complicated for the English to talk in English all the day. And the other questions was regarding the recommendation letter. If you don't have the stamp or the sign of the school, it's not a problem. The example that you are seeing is just the best example. It's true that if we have this kind of letter of recommendation, it's perfect. But if you don't have the stamp, or if you don't have a signature, it's okay. We just need to read clearly what they wrote about you, and also all the contacts of your professor or of your director. It depends. In order to contact them if we need. Voilà. Eurydice. Okay. There is a problem of connection with Eurydice. So I will follow with your questions alone. Sorry, the question was already asked. When interview occur. When will interview occur as for a student to extra? So regarding this last question, indeed, the session 4 deadline is April 20. Then you will receive the eligibility results to take an interview. If you don't have your English test or your English test or your written test, or both of them, you will be able to be eligible to take an interview even if you don't have the test, these 2 tests, because it's a special time. Okay, just it's exceptional. We are all facing this crisis as we can, and so we have to adapt. We had to adapt to this situation. So you will be able to take an interview even if you don't have the English test or the written test. And then on May 31st, you will add it to your online application, and then the school will reevaluate all your application to know if you can be admitted or not. But there is no problem to take an interview even if you don't have the English test or the written test, and it's really exceptional. It's a special session in order to have you in France, and to allow you to join a school in France. Alors, please for this speaking. They just sent me this message. Ok. Easy speaking. Okay, this is another English test, and okay, they want to. I don't understand your question. So you are asking if it's okay for us to accept the easy speaking.
Hello again. Sorry, because I have problems with my internet connection. Okay, so we accept the easy speaking test exceptionally, because normally we don't accept it because we don't know this test, but we know that several schools use it, so it's exceptionally. Yeah, if you want to talk about more about it, I get.
No, I was answering by sign to Yacine. Apparemment, il faudrait faire l'inscription à leur place. So apparently, regarding easy speaking test, this organism wants that Join a School in France do the registration for the candidates. Okay, but no, I don't think so, because we have a lot of work and we are not administrative people for easy speaking test, because we don't know this test. But it's really good information. Thank you, Yacine. We will do our best to get more information and to collect more information regarding easy speaking test, because I think it's not us that we have to do your registration, but it's important to know that, because maybe we will be able to find a solution with this organism. Okay, we will see. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's why I think I have have been writing you earlier. It's better that you send an email so that, as I get said, we will see what we can do. But normally, it's up to you to register for the different exams.
Mm-hmm. Regarding the French application, the application for a master in French language and the French process, this is not with the Join a School in France. This is directly with the schools. You can go directly to Schema, directly to Audencia, but not through Join a School in France, because this is especially for international students. And when we because we are talking a lot about international students, international profile. But what is an international profile? So just as a reminder, an international profile is to hold a bachelor or a banker or a license. So this is you have to hold a bachelor, this kind of diploma, 3 years or 4 years diploma abroad. It means outside France. So this is the most important requirements in order to apply through Join a School in France. You need to have a foreign diploma. So 3 years or 4 years diploma abroad. It's really important. If you don't have it, you can't apply through Join a School in France. And also you have to speak English, and to prove it, we organize interviews, and you have to do an English test, and probably easy speaking, and we will see if we can find a solution for this kind of test. Okay, vas-y.
Okay, dear Agathe and Eurydice, thanks for the presentation. Thank you. Just want you to confirm that it's not compulsory to register for EGScore, and that we can wait to upload classic written tests before May 31. You can, I think it's better to register for the EGScore, because if you apply to this exam, you're sure that you will get your results. if you wait for the Tajmaj in a classic way, it's uncertain. We don't know when the test centers will open again. So I think it's better for you to take the EG score if you have never taken a written test. Okay. Okay. Does it matter if we upload 2 professional letters instead of 2 academics or 1 academic and 1 professional? Schools strongly prefer academic recommendation letters from professors. Yet, if you got your bachelor degree 5 years ago, you can provide one academic, for example, you can provide 1 academic letter and 1 professional. But if you upload 2 professional, it's not okay. You must upload at least 1 academic recommendation letter. And as I was saying, if your referee don't want you to see the letter, it's possible to send it directly to. He can send it directly to our mail address, and then once we receive it, we will send you an acknowledge of receipt telling you that we have already received the document.
So to have the best application as possible, you can see on the presentation some documents that you can find on our website, joinerschoolinfrance.com. So you have to read the rules, the FAQ, because a lot of students are asking questions, and we gathered all these questions with the answers, because you always have the same questions and it's normal. So you can read all the FAQ, the rules, to download our catalogs, also to look at the videos, tips for candidates. This is a YouTube video of the candidates during their interviews, and they can give you advice during the interviews. They are well dressed, and they talk about what happened during the Join School in France interviews. You can participate in our webinars. So the next webinar will be on Thursday at 4 p.m., exactly the same hour, and it will be on Thursday, but this is a special webinar for African people. So the webinar will be in the French language, only in French. So for French people or people who speak French, you can attend this webinar on Thursday at 4 p.m. To get more information and to ask your question in French if you want. Maybe I think it will be easier for us to answer, because this is a real challenge to speak English. And you can also follow us on social media, because Eurydice and also our intern Olana, maybe you know her, they post a lot of publication, a lot of posts on Facebook, on the Facebook group. So you can join our Facebook group, because there is a lot of tips to have the best application as possible, and maybe you can also start a conversation between candidates. You can add us on WhatsApp, because for the moment, as you can see, we are at home, so the professional phone doesn't work anymore. So you can contact us on WhatsApp. It will be Eurydice who will respond you. So this is some really little tips, but really important, because you can contact us every time. And of course, you need to anticipate your actions, but in this situation, we know that it's complicated. And that's all. Do what you can. If you have an English test from 2015, it's okay, because we accept a test from 5 years, English or written test. It's okay. they have 5 years of validity. So if you have them, it's okay. You can upload them. We know that it's complicated for you to do it again. So we will be very flexible for this session, but it doesn't mean that you will have more chance to be admitted. It just means that regarding the application process, we will be more flexible. But the schools have their criteria, and then it's not easier to apply through Join a School in France than directly.
Mm-hmm. Perfectly.
um,
So we strongly encourage you to follow us on Facebook and also to join the Facebook groups. I have been writing the title of the different groups and also mail address.
And here you have all the contacts. And don't worry, you will receive the replay of this webinar. Do you have more questions? And if you have more questions, you have the email address. Do not hesitate to contact us to ask your questions, and for example, to give us information regarding the rules of the English test, the written test, because it's really important to communicate in this kind of period, and we need your information in order to guide you the best as possible.
Mm-hmm. We have a question from Julien. Could you precise what you mean by proof of payment? So we have a slide about this.
So this is not a bank account statement.
Yeah.
No. You don't need to upload your bank account. We don't
Yeah.
need this. It's your problem. We don't need to see this. Just the proof of the Join a School in France application fees. It's about 190 euros, and you have the link on the Join a School in France website because we are guiding you. We check all your applications. We give you advice. We send all your documents to the schools. Then the schools give their feedback. So this is for all the work that we are doing, that you have to pay 190 euros, and this is the proof of payment, but not your bank account.
So you have on the slide an example of the proof of payment. So when paying, you receive a PDF document, and you must upload this document.
Tu as répondu à quelle question là, Eurydice? Je n'ai pas entendu.
C'était pas in English.
It was
it was about the proof of payment. So on the slide we can see an example of a proof. It is a PDF file a PDF document that students receive when they pay the application fees.
Okay. Regarding the recommendation letter, it's an important document, but if you can't have 2 recommendation letters for this session, exceptionally, I think it will be okay. But it's better to have 2 academic recommendation letter. So you will be disadvantaged compared to the other students who upload 2 recommendation letters. But I don't think that if you just have 1 recommendation letter, you will not be eligible. I think it will be okay, but it's better to have 2 recommendation letters.
Mm.
This is not the most important document. The most important is the proof of payment, of course, your diploma. So bachelor, license, banker, so 3 years, 4 years degree, or maybe your school certificate, because some students will be graduated at the end of the year, so they don't have a diploma. But it's okay. You just have, if you are in this situation, you just have to upload your proof of school certificate, and saying that you will be graduated in 2020 and from a 4 or 3 years diploma, and all the academic transcripts regarding your study. It means first year, second year, and third and fourth and fifth years, if you have it. Another one is the passport or ID. And it's better, I insist, for Chinese people, if you, because we frequently have your ID in Chinese, but we can't read Chinese. So please upload an English version of this ID.
Or
It's
passport.
really, yes, or passport, exactly, because we have the English translation in your passport. And what else, Eurydice?
I had
And of
another
course,
question.
the English test and the written test, really important.
Yes. We had a question from Emmanuel. Normally, we do have the choice to upload required documents in French or in English. You can send your CV in French or in English. Also, you can reply to your motivation question in both languages, but the best is English. Also, if you studied in a French-speaking university, for example, in Ivory Coast, your recommendation letters can be in French. But for all the other documents, it's better to submit them in English. Do we have another question? So if you have other question, don't hesitate to write them and then we will reply. If I want to update my GMAT score, I need just to send an email to join the school. Okay. If you have already uploaded your GMAT score and you want to replace it, yes, you can send an email and then we will add it directly to your application form. So if you have other question, it's the moment.
Elena Theodora, t'as vu la question? All my dogs.
J'ai répondu
Okay.
oui du coup.
Ça marche. Okay. So,
if you only have unofficial GMAT scores by May 21st, can we send them and then send the official ones once we have them? It depends if you can tell me when you're going to take your GMAT, because if you take it, I don't know, in May, on May 20, then it can be okay to submit your official score. Is there a section in the application process to attach additional documents such as awards, certificates, and others? So you don't have additional additional documents, but if you want to talk about the fact that you receive an award during your studies, you can write it on your motivation question, because you have a question asking you what are you proud of, so you can talk about it directly in your motivation question.
And you can also combine a PDF. For example, if in the section diploma, upload your diploma, you can upload your diploma and then combine with your award. Is it clear for you? Fusionner en PDF. Je sais le dire en français.
But we see that we have lots of French-speaking people.
Oui.
So that's cool. if you want to participate to the webinar on first day and hear us speaking in French, it's okay.
And it will be really easier for us to answer. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your participation. I hope it was helpful for you. Do not hesitate to contact us on WhatsApp, by email, and to send your questions on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. On the Facebook group, it's really important. I suggest you to go on the Facebook group because we post every time posts that can help you, and a lot of information regarding written test, English test, all the documents, some tips to upload and to have the best application as possible. So follow us on social media and you can contact us. So thank you very much, and maybe see you in 2 days on Thursday, April 16th at 4 p.m. French time.
Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.